All right, everybody, welcome to another edition, another episode.
Another show, man.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of the CrossFit Lowlands Throwdown podcast. Robbin Nolan Mooney.
Holla. I got to think of something to say. Holler, holla. I don't know. I'll figure it out, man.
Yeah.
I'll grow into it.
Maybe hi, I'm here.
Hi. Oh, hi. I'm here.
Yeah, you're here.
Hey, man. That's
Yeah.
a Nolan thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'll work on it. We'll
Okay.
see next time. See what happens.
Yeah. We want to talk today about home training.
Yeah, training at home, man. How do we, everyone's been dealing with this the last little bit. There's a lot of, with the circumstances that are going on. And I think it's a pretty interesting topic. We're all getting more familiar with training at home. Some of us have done it before, and a lot of people, it's pretty new to them.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I think, I don't know about you, but have you ever trained at home before? Have you ever been forced in this situation, or did you choose to do this before?
Yeah, at home and on deployment as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, right?
Yeah.
If you've ever been deployed before, you've probably gotten used to some, in an austere environment with makeshift stuff that you kind of hobbled or cobbled together. Yeah, absolutely. I can remember a couple examples of that.
Yeah.
But I think what's really cool is like how creative people become and how they come up with some kind of solutions. So
and think about holidays where you bring something to work out.
yeah,
So I've got the 511 weight vest, and TRX, some kettlebells, and some elastic bands.
yeah. You'd be really surprised how freaking fit you can get with just a couple small pieces of equipment and then just creativity, right?
Yeah,
With the resources that come from your brain or the internet's.
Yeah, when I was on deployment, we only had the TRX with us, and a small field where we can work out, and a tree. So that's all we needed.
Yeah,
huh?
your equipment. Yeah. Yeah, I know. On deployments for us, we either we did a lot of bodyweight stuff, of course, but we would take like our rucksacks. We would use that for squat. We just filled it up with crap.
Yeah,
and then we had something heavy to pick up or to put over our head. And at the time, it was just it was purely for that functional kind of fitness that we needed for our job. But now, if you think about a lot of people that are used to training at a CrossFit box, a lot of times they show up and they just do what's on the board. They just do what they're told, and they don't really put much thought into it. So I think this is really providing us with a lot of opportunities to become more independent as athletes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and what I also think is use things that you never used before. So if you want to have, if you do push-ups on a box in your CrossFit box, right?
Yeah.
Use your couch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever. There's so much things you can use back home to.
I think what we say all the time at CrossFit FSF is like we're training to not suck at life. So everything that we do in the walls of the box are actually to better prepare you for everything that happens outside the walls of the box. And there is no better example of using our fitness than right now, where you can't build that fitness in the box, right?
Nope.
So I think it's really interesting to see how our community kind of continues and develops, and that's basically what we're gonna focus on today.
Yeah, but you have two different types of CrossFit athletes, right? You get the regular CrossFitter.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's say CrossFitter.
The person that comes to the box, like your basic member, it's an athlete in the box.
Yeah.
But maybe you train 2, 3, 5 times a week. But you train for that fitness outside of the CrossFit environment, right? You train for everyday life. Yeah.
And you get the competitive athlete.
Yeah.
So there are two types of athletes where we want to talk about, because they have two different needs, I think.
Absolutely, right? If you want to be a competitive CrossFit athlete, you are training for some pretty specific tasks and endeavors, whereas the general CrossFit athlete, the person that is, not training for competitive CrossFit or the sport of fitness, but just training for life, hey, what do they need? A broad, general, and inclusive fitness that will best prepare them for anything and everything that life throws at them.
Yeah.
So do you want to start? How about we start with that? Because you know what? Almost everybody is that person, right? We do CrossFit for everyday life. And I think what's in the situation we're in right now, it is very tempting to start like really, you have all this time and you're like, oh, you know what? Maybe now I can finally do 2-a-days, or maybe I can just blast myself with like hour-long Metcons every single day, and I'm gonna get all those fitness goals that I wasn't getting before because I didn't have time, right?
Yeah, you can do something like that.
That is a strategy. That is a strategy. Yeah, we don't know. As a dear colleague of mine, he says this a lot. He's like, that is a strategy. I don't know if it's a winning strategy, but shout out to Eric Preston. But
at least it is a strategy, right?
It is a strategy, right? Yeah. I would just to be 100% clear, guys, I would not recommend that. Don't blast yourself with fitness every single day.
Not at all.
And I think let's say if you're a 3-time-a-weeker, right? You come to the CrossFit box 3 times a week. You do what the coach says. You blast that workout. You work out at intensity. Well, you know what? Try first. Try to just maintain that. See if you can maintain that schedule and that rhythm for about a week. And then on week 2, maybe you should try. I mean, you have a lot more time now. See what 4 times in that week feels like. Yeah. And then just build it up gradually. If you can do 2 weeks in a row where you're training 4 times, hey, try 5 and see what happens. And the workouts, you don't need to all of a sudden change to every single day an hour-long session. You still do CrossFit. You still do constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity. So on one day, you might do a 5-minute workout. On the next day, you might do a 15-minute workout. Yeah. The day after that, you might do a 12 or an 8-minute workout. But you want to mix it and vary it just like you would if you were going to the box.
Yeah, and maybe your box owner is offering some home workouts as well. And you can follow the program of your own box. And otherwise, online, there's a shitload to find.
Yeah, there's there's a ton of home workouts available right now.
A ton, I don't remember.
A ton, yeah. Or a whole bunch, yeah.
A whole bunch. Yeah.
I know at FSF, we're not only do we provide a home training every single day, but we also we've programmed out ahead for the entire month. So all the factors that we take in consideration when we're doing the programming for the regular, like for the box, if we are open for business like normal, we do the same thing for these home workouts. Yeah. So if, like, let's say your box is doing that too, and you look at it and you're like, wait a minute, this workout's only 7 minutes. There's probably a reason for that. You don't know what's coming.
There's more to come.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know what's coming tomorrow. You don't know what's coming the next day. And hopefully the box owner has taken that into consideration. It's a very carefully laid out plan.
Yeah. And you are programming for CrossFit FSF for the home workouts right now?
Yes.
So can you tell something more about your game plan for it?
Yeah. So the big thing, I mean, my primary goal is we still want fitness, right? We still want to increase people's work capacity across broad time and modal domains. So that means we're going to vary the movements. That means we're going to vary the time domains. We're going to vary the amount of repetitions being performed. But a huge consideration is, what do people have at home, right? So basically, everybody doesn't have a barbell anymore. Everybody doesn't have a set of dumbbells or a pull-up bar. So I'm really trying to think about basic movement patterns: push, pull, and squat. Maybe throw a hinge in there, and then try to mix and match them. So that means that there are going to be some movements that come back a little bit more often. The frequency of certain movement patterns that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
It's the limitations that we have. But, like if you reduce down the basic core concepts of variance, it's really, we just look back at yesterday and we do something different.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing, maybe I'm doing air squats today, well then tomorrow, if I'm going to do a squat pattern, I might want to change it a little bit. Maybe I make it into a lunge. And then if, the next day, maybe we do like a standing good morning, right? So we're going to try and vary those patterns. But those are 2 big factors that I can take in consideration. A third factor is that because we're limited by the movements and the equipment that people may or may not have, I really have to kind of pay attention to that volume so people don't get overuse injuries, right? If I have push-ups and burpees and pike press-ups and bench dips over and over and over and over and over, it shouldn't surprise me that people's shoulders are starting to maybe get a little bit achy, or elbows and that kind of stuff. So definitely have to, those are like 3 primary factors that I'm taking into consideration when doing the programming for at-home workouts.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
What do you think people need to take care about in case of resting? Because
Yeah.
it's I can imagine if you have 2 kids at home, you need to work at home, you need to work out as well, and you need to sleep as well. Damn. What do you think they need to focus on recovery and maybe some sleep? Or
Yeah, I think, we have a saying that we teach, or that we say at the level 1, specifically when talking about programming. And we say, choose rest before rest chooses you. And basically what that means is like, let's stay in front of it before you have to have a rest day, before you are so sore or injured, or you can no longer do that, stressed out, whatever it might be. Let's make sure you plan that rest in there. And it can be as simple as, you know what? I'm going to schedule my workout days. I am also going to schedule my rest days.
it's as easy as that, man.
So if we take that 3-day-a-week CrossFit person, we're like, all right, cool. I normally at the box, I train Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night.
Yep.
That means that Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday are all rest days.
Yep.
And if I can maintain that consistently, well, then you know what? I'm going to add a day. All right, cool. So that means I got Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Perhaps I throw Saturday in the mix. But that Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, those need to stay. Like, I would just build it up, plan your rest days just like you plan your training.
So if you look into the programming, you will say follow the workout of the day. Just
That's it. When we program here at FSF, we are taking consideration, or the athlete that we have in mind is the athlete that is going to do all the workouts. And so we follow a similar split to what you see on CrossFit.com. On CrossFit.com, you have 3 days of training and 1 day of rest. And what we have chosen to do is we have 3 home trainings that you can do where you're gonna get some intensity, you're gonna punch yourself into fitness. And on day 4, the rest day, we've programmed some active recovery things. So things like, that's when we want to take the time to go outside, take a walk. Perhaps you do in the Netherlands here, everyone does grocery shopping with their bike anyways.
Yeah.
But some kind of get some fresh air because everyone's stuck inside for a little bit. Maybe do some of those activities that we're still allowed to do in this current time.
Yep.
But lower intensity. Maybe go outside in your yard and do some yoga, man. But like we've been programming some very simple things like go ride your bike or go for a walk outside, those kind of things.
Yeah. And you can make it less or more heavy to say, hey, pick a rucksack or whatever.
Yeah, you could. But just the idea, the main thing, especially if you're following our programming, 3 on, 1 off, is to make sure that 1 off doesn't turn into an on day. Yeah. Right? So it's like we're not having the issue where people are kind of meeting up and they distract each other or tempt each other to go harder. But we are all at heart maybe a little bit competitive, especially if you're a CrossFit kind of person.
Yeah.
And it's very tempting to kind of look at your watch and be like, all right, hey man, last time it took me 28 minutes to walk there. This time, maybe I can do it in 25, right? And then all of a sudden you're sprinting with your groceries and your neighbors are looking at you going like, what the fuck is that guy doing, right? So yeah, we want to make sure that that it stays a recovery day or a rest day.
Yeah. Active rest.
Active rest, yeah, exactly. Now, I think another piece that all types of athletes underestimate and maybe ignore on purpose, like selectively ignore, is the value of, actually the full extent of recovery. And that's not just those rest days, but every single day when we need to sleep. Every single day when we're talking about our nutrition.
Yeah.
And in times like this where we generally have a lot more time at home, these are perfect and amazing opportunities to work some kind of discipline and routine or set up a schedule to implement things like, hey, can I get a sleep routine initiated where 2 hours before I want to be in bed, maybe I turn off the TV, maybe I shut down my screens, perhaps I do some food prep, get things ready for the next day, which is, man, if you can only just set up your breakfast for the next day, hey, you're 1 meal ahead of the next, right?
Yeah.
Like
And sometimes this helps to make your plan for the next day as well.
Absolutely,
to clear your head.
Yeah.
Instead of go to bed with all that information in your head. And
totally. I mean, I know for you, man, you are a man with many different hats.
Yeah.
And you're not only, doing the Elite Fitness media productions, but you're also helping with CrossFit FSF, and you want to train yourself, and you got a girlfriend, and. What are some things that you're doing? Like how do you approach this like routine to make sure everything moves smoothly the next day or day to day?
Yeah, I try to sleep 8 hours a night.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it goes well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it
less
sucks.
than 8. Yeah.
It depends on how busy my schedule is and all about traveling as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to make some kind of game plan for the next day. For now, it's all in my head, but I think about a system to write it all down to make sure I can scratch it off if I'm done with it.
Yeah, kind of like a to-do list or
something like that.
Okay.
And I try to stay focused on one thing. So if I start working, I will check my email. Then I do the task from my list. Do email again. Because my emails are popping up really fast, sometimes more than 100 or 200 a day. So if you want to read every email when it comes in, then you drive yourself crazy. So you need to set times to do specific tasks, and the same for workout.
Yeah, schedule that workout into your schedule, right?
Yeah, I really need to do that. A lot of times it happened in the past that I didn't schedule my workout, and I was working from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening, and I thought, I still need to work out.
Right.
I'm tired, I'm hungry. So planning really helps me. Plan your meals, plan your workout, plan your work, and then you have a really productive day.
I think as far as the regular CrossFit athlete is concerned, that the number one thing is really develop that structure and have a plan. Now, when we talk about that competitive athlete, the CrossFit sport, right? Or the sport of fitness kind of athlete, they definitely do have to take things to the next level. But I would look at this as an opportunity to divide your day up, and perhaps instead of, normally these athletes, they may have a job outside of their sport careers or competitive endeavors. But now a lot of people are at home. So I would actually recommend and perhaps let them try maybe 2 or 3 shorter sessions where they can come in, they go to their house, they go to whatever their garage gym is, they knock out 45 minutes at a high intensity, and then they do maybe their recovery protocol, whatever it might be, whether it's maybe some ROMWOD or whatever, GoWOD or what was it called?
GoWOD.
GoWOD. Those are my buddies down in France. Something like that, some kind of recovery protocol, their food, their nutrition, a little bit of rest, and then maybe a couple hours later, boom, they knock out the next session. But again, keep it a little bit shorter and see, perhaps that could, just give them a whole new perspective on how to approach their training and how their body responds to maybe shorter, more intense bursts of activity coupled with more rest.
Yeah, but I can imagine for those athletes, it's way more difficult to work out back home, right? Because most of the athletes cannot do a snatch or a clean, a jerk.
Well, you know what? I think this is where that creativity piece comes into mind or comes into play. And that's when we start talking about, okay, well, what kind of equipment should we have? Do we need at home to maintain certain levels of fitness? And I know Coach Glassman has been saying for years, we don't have enough dumbbells in our community. And if you look to when we had regionals and you look to a lot of the sanctioned events now, dumbbells are becoming more and more present.
Yeah, look into the open.
You got it in the open as well, right? Yeah. So every stage so far, dumbbells. Now in the open, we have 50-pound dumbbells, 35-pound dumbbells, or 15 and 22.5 kilos. Well, what if you step it up a notch? Maybe it's easy to do a snatch with a 22.5 kilo dumbbell for a competitive athlete or a male athlete. What if it's 45 kilos? Again, like any kind of discrepancy or any kind of imbalance that you have is going to be exposed. It's going to become an exponentially greater problem when you grab a dumbbell. And if you think you got it covered with a dumbbell, well, then grab 2 dumbbells. There's a lot of opportunities to get stupid strong. And hey, you know what? Maybe you lose 5 kilos on your snatch, if you don't touch a barbell for a little bit. But think about all the benefits in stability and just pure core strength from working with some big stupid dumbbell. You got a 100-pound or 45-kilo dumbbell that you're whipping around over your head, man. I promise you're gonna get some fitness from it.
That's heavy, man.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I'm not
going overhead with 45-kilo dumbbells either.
I'm thinking about the open workout last year with a 22.5 kilo dumbbell. And the game face challenges all over the
oh man, over Instagram and social media platforms. Yeah.
That workout, that face from me. Ooh.
Well, I know for me personally right now, so like it's a week and a half ago now, I broke my hand. And I broke my strong hand. So now my really strong hand, which is not my non-dominant hand, it's getting a lot of attention.
Lefty.
Yeah, right? Lefty. So it's really been interesting. And what's cool is I've had to adapt all my training to, dumbbell stuff or kettlebells, right? I got both. But I'm getting really excited about the recovery process and the rehab process. Like once I get cleared hot, once we find out if the bone is healed correctly and I can start, putting some pressure on this and start training again, I want to continue with dumbbells like way more than I had before. And, I've had the dumbbells for a long time, but I didn't need to use them. I used them every once in a while. But I think it's to be a really fun experiment to see where my fitness goes just by kind of adapting to that.
Yeah, nice, man.
So I think so the next question is like, well, what kind of equipment do I need at home?
Yeah.
What should I get? And I think, so really, if I think about those basic movement patterns, right? I talked about like push, pull, and squat, and then like a hinge pattern too. If you can get dumbbells, that would be fantastic. And like as a woman, what kind of dumbbells are we looking for? I would say maybe 10 kilo, 15 kilo, and then you could go up to like 22 and a half.
Strong woman.
Yeah, exactly. But keep in mind, it's not just for like shoulder to overhead. It's also for deadlifts. It's also for swings, right? You can do like a kettlebell swing, but with a dumbbell. If you guys are interested, there's a great online course from CrossFit, the dumbbell course. I would highly recommend it. I think it's fantastic. I'm almost done with it. I'm on the last module right now, and it just really opens your mind and that creativity to all the different things that you could do with those movements. So almost every movement you can do with a barbell, you can do with a dumbbell. Now, but I do understand the financial kind of like barrier, right? Dumbbells are not cheap.
No.
So like if a woman was going to go out and buy like, 10, 15, and 22 and a half, it's going to cost you some cash. Dudes, I would recommend, 15, 22 and a half, 30. That's some cash, man. You got to put out. So let's say you're limited by your budget. Well, what are some other things? Elastic bands. You can get a set of elastic bands and you can do a ton. Think of every body weight movement you do and then wrap a band around it to make it harder. And the bands, you can get anywhere from like 15, 30 pounds of resistance all the way up to hundreds of pounds. And even if you're the strongest dude or chick on the planet, you can maintain a lot of fitness that you have. And if you're not the strongest dude or chick on the planet, you can get some strength with them. Yeah. So
you become
exactly right. And you well, at least you can get a lot jackeder. Maybe not tanner, but you could definitely get more jackeder, right? Yeah. Jackeder.
Yeah, something like that.
So I think those would be two really big options. If you can swing it, a pull-up bar would be fantastic, or perhaps like a set of rings that you could hang off of a tree someplace. Then you can do a lot of those pulling movements. And again, like a set of rings and some elastic bands, you can get pretty far.
Yeah. All that stuff we were talking about, it's available on the Rogue website, right? So you can
absolutely,
you can order.
I would say, again, if you're over here in Europe, rogueeurope.com. If you're in the US, roguefitness.com. And they've got, guys, we've been ordering from Rogue for years now. And the biggest thing, and not only like are they just a stellar company with integrity and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the equipment is bomb-proof. It's just phenomenal. And we've got bumper plates that are 10 years old, and that's unheard of. That's ridiculous, like in an affiliate. And it's just a matter of like, hey, paying attention to how you use it, that kind of stuff. But still, kettlebells, dumbbells, it doesn't matter what you get from them. Their customer service is fantastic. It's a fair price for the quality of the product, and definitely highly recommend checking them out, man.
Yeah,
cool. I think some resources. I think for programming. So if you're kind of running into some problems, you don't know what to do. First off, guys, check out CrossFit.com.
Yep. They've
got a ton of just a ridiculous amount of information on there. They've had the at-home workouts for a long time. You can use that. My friends at CrossFit Lynchpin. You have Pat Sherwood. They've got equipment, no equipment or limited equipment workouts. A ton of bodyweight workouts, so no equipment workouts. And then I've been starting to play with a program from Thunderbro, from Dave Lipson. It's one hilarious media. So if you're into like laughing while working out, I would definitely recommend it. But they've got some killer workouts. You can get one of their ebooks, and you've got at least 40 days to shredded super awesomeness or something like that. And they've just got some killer workouts you can knock out in 40 minutes. And you literally don't need to do anything else. And all you need is a set of dumbbells. Yeah. So check that stuff out. I don't know if you've been looking at some things or some...
Yeah, what I want to add to this is if you're working out normally in your regular gym, please reach out to your coach.
Absolutely.
Ask them for some help. They can help you out, definitely. And, I know
I've already
CrossFit.com, man.
Yeah, I've already gotten questions from our members. We're lending some of our equipment out.
Yep.
And I told everybody that I've seen, hey, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. And literally like a couple hours later, hey, I borrowed this kettlebell. I borrowed this box. You got any questions? You got any ideas? Sure, man. Like, we would love to help you. You guys are helping us. You're supporting us. I guarantee your CrossFit coach wants to help you out too.
Totally agree.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, I think that's
it, man.
I think about it for today.
Yeah.
You guys stay safe out there. Stay happy. I think for a positive thing, I broke my hand a week and a half ago, and my fitness, it's not taking a hit. So there's always a way, guys. We just got to get a little bit creative. And
if you really want, cool.
If you want train. You got it, man. Cool. Guys, stay safe. Take care.
Until next time.